Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your boy Roliver Queen. Yeah, you see the thumbnail, you see the title. We got a lot of shit to talk about. Lying and dick eating. There's been a lot of nonsense happening with this Batgirl movie and the DCEU in general. But before we get started, I just want to introduce the homies. Like, this is the first time I have this many people on stream. So I'm just gonna start with Prime Gundam. Please introduce yourself, brother.
Guten Tag, my dudes, and konnichiwa, bitches. It's your boy Prime Gundam, diabolical fusion of Cybertronian and Universal Century technology.
Hey, AJ, you next, brother.
As always, I am AJ. Good to be back on the channel.
All right, Elvis.
Well, hello. Glad to be here. Oh my God, what a week! What a week!
All right, last but not least, we got CJ from Three Black Geeks.
What is going on, guys? CJ here, the tall guy from 3BG. Prime, I'm disappointed that you're not working up that Doctor Who cosplayer extraordinaire in your title. I'm really disappointed.
Look, I'm working on it. I'm just trying to, lay it low for the 60th anniversary. My pop out in big style.
Prime is being so subtle. I'm like, dog, you won like 2 Doctor Who cosplay contests. You need to flex that very much.
You do, dog. Like, what the fuck?
I need. I'm slacking. That's on me.
You gotta parlay that into Doctor Who cosplay guest appearance at a convention. I'm just saying, like,
there have been some. I haven't had some discussions. I had some discussions.
Okay, all right, shit. We got big timer over here. Big time.
I know. Both of y'all, actually. You were just at what was it, San Diego Comic-Con not too long ago, weren't you?
Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Mad jelly, by the way.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of happenstances. Seeing Green Lantern there in the flesh. It was great. It's awesome. Green Lantern, if you don't know, what's his face that voiced him in the animated cartoon. He was in Hawkman in Black Adam.
Samurai Jack.
No, not Phil Lamar. The other one that's in the Green Lantern movie, the animated movie that just came out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Him and Hawkman that's in the Black Adam movie. I don't know why I'm blanking out on his name.
Aldous Hodge.
Yeah, Aldous Hodge. Yeah. That was San Diego Comic-Con is full of happenstance meetings with celebs that just happen to be like just chilling. And at least for us as Black people, Comic-Con is the perfect place to just find Black celebs that hate to say it, white people don't give a fuck about. So Black celebs can just walk around and nobody gives a shit. Like, I joked around the fact that Diggle and Mr. Terrific from Arrow walked around the con floor and nobody said shit to him. I'm like, what? It's fucking Diggle.
Really?
Like, how do you not like? It's Diggle. It's right there in your face and nothing. Like, he had like 2 guys walking behind his handlers. I'm like, it's Diggle. He's walking the con floor. He ain't getting mobbed. Like, what's going on here? Like, damn.
I mean, you think with the amount of times people be memeing those shows, especially on Twitter, like they would notice them like right fucking there.
See, we as Black people know. We know. But just everybody else is like, nah. I'm like, that's Diggle. I thought you guys like him. Like,
right. I like Diggle.
And Diggle is very invested in the Black community because his IMDb, he's been in some Black shows and in movies before Arrow, so he's already ingrained in Black culture already.
Okay. Nah, man, that's what's up. I'm happy
but it was
you
fun.
had
But it was fun. It was fun overall, definitely.
Happy you had a good time. I did check out the latest one of your latest episodes. You did an interview with the Williamson, and then you had a convo with Prime, and you yelled the home, but I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, for the comic book.
Comic Corner.
It was me and Prime and Cam from Blurred and Whiskey, and then I got together with our boy. He did his indie comic. It's like MMA themed. Love it. Okay. It's actually a really good book. It's actually legit, real good book. He's finally getting that distributed worldwide now, and I'm like, oh shit, all right. Parlay his preview world job into it, so I'm happy for him. But I'll let you get on with the show. I don't want to take it.
No, it's all good, man. But yeah, like I said, this has been a lot of nonsense happening with this Batgirl movie. I noticed some things. So I'm about to kick this off with my conspiracy theory. So I remember when we first found out that this movie was being canned. One of the first reports that came out was from The Wrap and several other sources, and the first thing that they mentioned was that, hey, this movie tested poorly.
Yeah.
So, but apparently the audience wasn't feeling it, and that justified. Well, that was one of the main reasons why it was justified that DC canned the movie, or AKA, so should I say, Mr. Dick Eater? Zaslov. So, okay, so cool. That was the narrative that was being pushed, at least for I want to say a week, just about a week or almost a week, and then a couple days ago, actually, let me add this in too. So, of course, when this news comes out, you have the detractors, whether they weren't fans of the DCEU, whether they're, CGers or, right wingers, people who are against the whole, race swap nonsense.
Woke.
Yeah, woke. So it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, DC did the right thing. Yeah, the movie tested poorly.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So I was on this random stream, right, for a horror YouTuber who I won't name, but like 2 minutes into it, I think review I find his amusing, but 2 minutes into his live stream about the background news, him and the entire chat goes like, oh man, it tested so wokely, they canned it. Like, where are you getting this from? They said poorly, but in their minds, their little munchkin squirrel brains, it goes like, bad must be woke. Those two things are parallel to each other.
Woke has lost all meaning at this point.
Oh yes, it has.
I feel so sorry for that show that guy from New Girl's in.
Hey, that season 2 is actually pretty high. I like it.
It came out like 3 years too late though.
Yeah, but it's actually a really good show. It's a good show. I'm glad that FX is giving it a chance, because I think FX is definitely the channel to give a platform to what that show is doing, because it's definitely highlighting. It's very nuanced in how it highlights the whole idea of what woke it truly is and everything else. And that show is actually really good for it, because it shows all the good and bad and just all the angles that we see, especially on like what you brought up with people bringing up woke, commodifying and all that stuff. It's like, no, the show does a good job of bringing up all the angles of that. So yeah, it's. Of course, everybody took advantage of that whole thing.
Exactly, and that brings it to my next point, right? So that was the narrative that was being pushed, and then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, what would you know? We get news that not only did it supposedly not test badly, but it got the same test screening score as it, which also went on to make a shit ton of money. I believe it also received the same test screening score as Shazam, which also is very popular. It made a shit ton of money. My conspiracy theory here is that there's a lot of people that don't know what test screening means or what the real definition is. So they assume that whatever cut that was out there was the final cut. But
it's an early cut minus the think the Wolverine screener, the Wolverine work print that came out. That's pretty much what they use for test audiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people know what test screening is, or they don't know what test screening is, but because the line is so blurred, it's easy to push the narrative that is like, oh, this movie was done completely. It was shown to a crowd, and the crowd hated it. Yes. So, of course, that can spiral out of control. And what do you know? It tested the same as a lot of movies that went out to do pretty great. Yeah. So, in my conspiracy theory, I'm just like, well, so what is this? Are these companies starting to feed into the culture war a little bit? Like what's going on? Or also, the same thing too. It's just like, hey, somebody fucking lying here. So it's
gotta be.
So somebody fucking lying, because now I don't know what to believe. But at the same time, is why would I believe? Because it's a fucking test screening. That is not enough to make an accurate assessment on a movie, because again, they still got to add in the VFX. Maybe they got to do some reshoots. We see this happening all the time. So I don't know. I want to present this to you guys. What do you guys see? Somebody lying, bro? What do y'all think?
I think that if I'm going to say who's lying between Viewer Non was the big guy who's always talking about test screenings, and he's like the big source, very reliable. I think he's like 99% of the time he's on the money with spoilers, test screening info.
What's it, El Mayimbe, that dude?
No, Viewer Non.
Nah.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant him.
No, not Mayimbe, because that guy is has like a 40% success rating. All right,
that's still better than most.
That's better than most, but like Viewer Non are always on the money. I might not agree with his personal opinions that much on stuff, but in terms of like what studio info, industry info, you can't go farther than that. So I'd rather believe him more than like WB, day of the Frosty movie is happening, or just all of this over like the last 4 years, or basically ever since Man of Steel, just the deluge of like PR nightmares and PR just really blunt PR moves to sort of glisten over all the DCU mistakes, So like one has more credibility than the other, and the other one is like off the cliff in terms of credibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The logic from Zaslov is essentially like, because in our private group chat on Facebook, we were talking about it, and I sat there and said, well, why not throw it in theaters? And the buddy of mine was saying, well, if they put it in theaters, they have to make it theater ready, which means that even though it's at 90 million, that means you got to pump a little bit more money to where it'll go up to like, say, 150 million total in terms of finishing that and plus advertising. So that means that the movie has to make at least 300 million to break even. Mm-hmm. And I guess the people at the suits at WB don't think that they will make that much, because I think they only take in 40% of the tickets in the box office, I believe. So it's one of those things where the movie has to really do way more than 300 million. And then it's just a lot of stuff that's at play here. So it's like, on the business side, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, hey, dog, just eat the loss and put it on streaming.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. It's not a theater movie. It was made for HBO Max. It's the same level of Peacemaker. It was never going to be a theater movie. And
a notch above Peacemaker, but yeah.
But yeah, so like that's a big misconception as well. People think that like, oh, it was going to make ticket sales, but it was always made for streaming. Maybe there was rumors that it was going to like get upgraded like Blue Beetle, but now that we know that it was like 90% through post-production, that probably was going to happen because Blue Beetle got like a bunch more budget to it.
I mean, you have to put a budget behind Blue Beetle.
Like, you can't bullshit that one.
Yeah,
you can't CW budget that shit.
That's the A-list. No. That's the A-list. Blue Beetle. It's the new Trinity, Green Lantern, Blue Beetle, Rocket Red. But yeah, no, like, so I think that's another thing is that there really wasn't any risk because they already knew they weren't going to make that much from it, like in terms of actual cash. It was always going to be like a quality of life thing for HBO Max. Like to
get people involved, kind of like right now we're seeing with Prey. Like apparently Prey, Disney actually was smart about this. They basically use Prey as kind of like to get people still keeping their Hulu subscriptions. As you should. Like that's the way to keep people still involved with Hulu. And I'm assuming that's what they were going to do with Batgirl for HBO Max. Like, keep your HBO Max because we got Batgirl here.
Yeah, so it's tying into the Flash. It's got Michael Keaton.
Exactly.
That exact same thing that they're doing in Disney Plus stuff. Like, you don't need to watch WandaVision, but the diehards are going to anyway.
It'd be nice. It's kind of like it's what I've always said. It's like reading a comic. It's like, look, do you have to read this book? Not really, but it helps. It'd be nice. It works if you want to, And the Batgirl it seemed like Batgirl was playing up to, like you said, the Michael Keaton thing. It was great. It's a nice, because I think somebody said Michael Keaton is only in the movie for like a smooth 10 minutes.
Like he's like 5 short scenes. That's what they said.
Yeah, 5 short scenes was amounts to like 10 minutes. So I'm like, damn, that's not even the whole movie. That's just barely in the movie, if that. So
because what I'm thinking also is just like so I'm not mistaken, Flashpoint's supposed to be first, and then I think it's Batgirl that's going to be second. That's going to be picking back off of that, or was it an Aquaman 2?
It was initially supposed to be Flash first, Aquaman, and I don't think Batgirl ever officially had a release date, but you assume I guess it's somewhere in between there. Flash, of course, as we know, got pushed back. So then Aquaman, that was going to be Keaton's first appearance, but that test screening, people were confused. Like, hey, why is Michael Keaton here? So as we all know, they went and reshot his scenes with Affleck. So that's one Keaton appearance gone. Now Batgirl has to come after the Flash. Like I said, still no release date was ever set for that. Then they get rid of that. So that's another Keaton appearance down. We'll come to that. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. I think he's probably going to say F this after Flashpoint, and they're going to have to find, once again, another new Batman. But one thing, what do we think about, do we think part of this is just because Zaslav's a penny pincher, coming over from Discovery?
Could be.
I think it's that, and also like that. I think the only true thing that Zaslav has said. I think all the rest of this is just either lies or just less important rationalizations. I think the only thing that he really cares about is rebooting the DCEU. Like everything else is secondary to that. Like, okay, Batgirl has test screenings, but it turns out it had like middle of the road test screenings. It was bad quality. We were going to make any money off it. We got tax write to get some money out of it. It turns out that they're also writing off like a dozen other TV shows and movies and are planning to write off even more.
House Party is another movie that got canned under WB. And I forgot House Party. And I forgot House Party was
same.
under WB. I forgot.
I was waiting for that since they announced it like 2 years ago. Like, oh, cool, another House Party.
And apparently that movie was basically like Batgirl. Like, it was like 95% done.
It was supposed to come. It was actually supposed to come out. Like someone was there with the button to release it, to launch it like a week ago, and it didn't come out. So that movie is not even just 90% done. That movie is 100% done.
Oh, okay, so it's 100% done. Okay.
Yeah, it was meant to come out last week.
He got rid of like most of his high-profile projects.
Exactly. So like,
I'm saying I was hyped for. It's not like I was hyped for House Party, but it's like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, good movie to watch. Traffic to the service.
I was actually. I may be the only one who's excited for it.
I was curious. Don't get it twisted. I was curious.
I forgot about it. I ain't gonna hold you. I forgot.
Just because 4 and 5 weren't that good doesn't mean that this one wouldn't happen. All right.
There's a 5. I didn't know that.
There's a 5.
I thought there was 3.
No, there was 3, and then there was a third one with like Mario.
Yeah, 4 was with Immature.
Yeah,
IMAX at the time, and then 5 was like
with the white guy.
It was the Disney Channel version of House Party, and it had Kid and Play pop in as cameos.
It was the Pair of Kings version. Yes, for sure.
The contractual obligation. All right, just go ahead and just do it.
But yeah, no, like so. That's why I get really irate with all these people saying like, whenever all this gets brought up now, you have the same kind of like, CGers who are clearly CGers and alt-right YouTuber kind of wannabes and fanboys who are like, oh man, it got canceled because it was low quality. Well, one, that's already been debunked by credible sources. It was supposed to save them money because they wouldn't have got any money outside of it. But then like, has nothing to do with anything because they're already slashing everything else down. It doesn't make Batgirl unique. It makes Batgirl one symptom of a larger trend. It's not just about Batgirl itself, but about the whole WB structure at this point.
But the narrative, it doesn't matter because at this point, like Batgirl was like easy pickings at this point because you got Leslie Grace, Latina woman, which is not traditionally what she is, so that's strike number 1. 2, she's a woman, that's strike number 2. And what's the third one? They already kind of wishy-washy on the suit in general, wishy-washy on the writing, and then you also got to take into consideration there's just a lot of people who if Zack Snyder not on the shit, they don't want to deal with it, or they got something to say about it. So that's potentially strike number 3, 4, 5, 6. So obviously when here's what I think happened. There was a slew of movies that got canned at the same time because Batgirl was the most high profile one. That's the one that went out there. And of course, that's SEO, that's clicks, that you know the whole shebang. So it's easy for narratives to be pushed and people to forget about the other shit to the movies and TV shows that got canned. Nobody talking about Scooby, man. Nobody talking about Scooby.
Scooby was done. That's Scooby Doo. Real talk. That's a moneymaker.
Hold on. Like I am. I want to see Scooby.
Scooby Doo is a moneymaker, man. I'm like, that's a gold mine still to this day.
And the thing, like WB was at one point contractually obligated to make 2 Scooby Doo direct-to-video movies a year. Now they missed one because of the COVID. 2020, they only released 1 Scooby Doo direct-to-video movie that year, and this was going to be one of the 2. They already have another one coming out. I think it's a sequel to the Halloween that came out. Halloween, Happy Halloween Scooby Doo. It's called Trick or Treat Scooby Doo. So this is gonna be the second one, and like now I mix it up in the air. Like, okay, and you have Zaslov saying they're cutting back on kids animation. Like Scooby Doo, outside of like the odd 1 or 2 season show, and mainly through DTVs. Is this the end of Scooby Doo? You know,
I mean,
no one's talking about that.
That's a moneymaker. They put out an anniversary box set, I think last year or the year before.
They make an anniversary box set every year. Like that's just been reprinted like for so long.
But people buy it. Like
People buy
they buy the shit out of it. It's like, dude, it's Scooby Doo. It's like The Simpsons. It's like, yo, it's a mainstay of mainstream pop culture. It's like come on, like Scooby Doo versus WWE.
But bro,
you can debate the quality all you want to, but people watch
people gonna buy that shit, bro. People gonna buy it. They're gonna watch it. It's like, bro, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
literally.
Yep, bro's right. Like, no one cares, and that's what's really driving this whole Batgirl focus on both ends, really. Because everyone's like saying, like, okay, it's because it was this, or it's like Zaslav is like a Trumper or like an alt-right neocon. Yeah, sure, he's all those things, and I might have influenced it, but at the end of the day, he's just slashing and burning. Like he doesn't care.
It's finance. That's all it really is.
Yeah, it's just really, really callous, cruel capitalism.
It's way callous, but yeah, it's definitely finances still. I don't think it's him like, oh, I hate women. I mean, that's up for debate at that point. But
and on the other hand, you have like
he promised his investors $3 billion worth of cuts, and then came out and said, "Oh yeah, we're downgrading our outlook by another $1 billion."
Yeah, like, and so and like that's the thing. Like up until that ratings call, right? Like, all right, so basically WB has since the merger was finalized, I think like the beginning of the year, like January, has getting back almost half of its whatever value it's lost. I think it was like 27, and then up until the earnings call, it was like at $16, $70 a share. So it wasn't like high, but it was like really rapidly gaining momentum up. And then you have the earnings call where he's saying, okay, not only have we not cut down or reduce our debt enough, we still have like $45 million in debt, $54 billion in debt, but we're also cutting down all the stuff that would make us money. And so now you have like, I think since the earnings call, the stock has gone down 40%. And like, so that's so funny because you have all the comments when Batgirl was getting like, with the focus on Batgirl, it's like all these right-wing like comic state judges like, oh man, you gotta trust Zaslav's vision, like he knows what he's doing. Are you a CEO? Do you run a company? And like, okay, but it seems like he's not doing a great job either.
I mean, the other side of it is people being weird about it, like, oh man, they still kept Black Adam going and they canned Batgirl. I'm like, guys, chill. It's The Rock.
Yeah.
Are you gonna look at The Rock and tell him Black Adam ain't coming out? Like, yo, chill.
Yeah. I also saw a man bun who was like, Black Adam and Batgirl tested the same. What's the difference? And I'm like, well, first of all, white man, let's not do this. Let's pit 2 minorities against each other. Let's not do that.
First off, it's The Rock.
And second of all, it's the goddamn Rock. Come on, dog.
Yeah, that's not. I've always been on. Whenever someone brings it up, I'm always like, yeah, okay, the Black Adam's coming out, but like The Rock was planning on like a Hawkman show, a JSA movie, maybe a crossover with Shazam.
Dude, he put Black Adam in that DC Super Pets movie, which, by the way, isn't it? It's a very good movie. I ain't gonna lie. DC Super Pets is actually a really good movie. Like he put Black Adam in that movie. I'm like, so Black Adam got an animal. All right, fine, cool.
Okay. Was it a crocodile? Because that's the only thing I want to care.
No, I think it was like an Egyptian like hound or like dingo or some shit like that or whatever.
The Rock's a fake fan then. Fake fan.
But it's what me and Prime have feared. Where I'm like, so you're just gonna turn Black Adam into The Rock in the comics? Oh God.
Basically,
God, no.
It's real time. It's happening in real time.
But I feel like we should probably talk about this too. Like he's going all this hard on it. So like, yeah, of course, Black Adam's coming out. But whenever someone brings it up, like, oh man, like the Rock is gonna like rule the DCU. Like the thing is, right?
Can it be any worse than before?
The thing is, right? Zaslav is saying he wants a clean slate, and you have Shazam and Black Adam both really digging their heels on the Snyderverse. Now, when I say Snyderverse, I mean all the movies that came after Man of Steel, because they all still use that basis. You know,
They're
so
kind of. It feels like they're doing what Aquaman did, which I got a laugh out of. Like Aquaman barely recognizes Justice League, other than Mira saying, "Oh man, when you helped out against Steppenwolf," and it didn't. That's it. That's all the movie.
The thing is, right? I like what I mean is that like that doesn't guarantee that anything of that's happening, because if Zaslov gets what he wants, none of that's going to matter. And
I mean, Flashpoint's going to wipe it all off the.
But like, I think they're going to just not make any sequels or any of that shit that The Rock wanted to do. Like, because The Rock, what The Rock was saying, the Black Adam, Shazam were going to be like the new core of the DCU moving forward, because you're going to get the JSA, you can get, I think, maybe a Suicide Squad 3, because you're going to have Amanda Waller in there.
That's right.
The Suicide Squad works even by itself, because even the second one, it's like, do you have to recognize Justice League? Not really.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, like, they're going to cancel all that shit. Or if they haven't already, The Rock is going to get backstabbed, and they're just going to, like, if they even make a Black Adam 2, it's going to be recast. I don't think, or they're not even going to make any Black Adam, because you know what Zaslov has been saying he wants to prioritize theaters, he wants to prioritize the mainline DC characters and large blockbuster budgets. And I don't think you're going to spend like $200 million on a Shazam movie or a Black Adam movie because you didn't spend that much on them to begin with.
I'll say,
are you going to spend a Hawkman movie? Are you going to spend that much on a Hawkman movie? Like, honestly,
nah,
no.
I think
if Rock is getting fucked over,
it'll be a series. I don't think they're gonna.
Oh, but that thing, Zaslov is saying he wants to prioritize the new DCEU.
Now, if Black Adam makes a lot of money, Rock got a lot of leverage. Like, hey, dog, my movie made a lot of money, so
I don't know. I again, this guy doesn't seem to care about profits, man.
It's about it really comes down to, I get the aspect of what he's trying to do, but it's like right now it's not a good look to be canceling a lot of this stuff that has money potential. So it's like, all right, like I get you want to save money, but like, dog, Ezra Miller out here running wild. Is the Flash movie really that fucking good that you?
That shit must be amazing. Letting Ezra go on and on and on and on. We're about a month away from finding out he's killed someone.
Yes,
dude, he's Eobard Thawne. He's Eobard Thawne.
Yes,
straight up.
He got Teflon, bro. He got Teflon. That's all I gotta tell you. Like, two people in DC got Teflon right now: Jeff Johns and Ezra Miller.
Bruh,
guaranteed.
All I gotta say,
guaranteed.
Either that movie is the bomb, or they got the suck. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's got to be something.
The thing I find the funniest is that even if it is that amazing, we can't see any footage of it. Because how are they going to market that footage? Oh, like even if it's amazing, like, you know, that if none of this was happening, like if none of the thing with Ezra Miller was happening, and people were still saying like, oh, why is the Flash still coming out if they want to reboot? They would like be putting out trailers every single day, like, oh, look at the money on the screen, but they can't. They can't do that
because they're in like what 95% of the movie. So I've heard rumors that like recasting is an option. It's been something that's been discussed. But they're thinking about what's the cost sunk fallacy here? Like how much, how crucial to this movie is a linchpin going forward? Do we need to like put more money that we've already put into it now? So Ezra, they are in like, I heard like anywhere from like 90 to 95% of the movie. Like they are in they are 3 or 4 or 5 characters. Like, come on, dog. Like what you doing?
It's going to be just as
the ending leaves them an opening to recast him at like, I want to say like the last scene of the movie. So I don't know if they'll go that route or not, but that thing has to be amazing.
This is just as awkward as like, I forgot what convention it was. They were promoting a Wild Force meetup, and Ricardo Medina had just went to jail for stabbing a dude.
Oh no!
I forgot what year it was. It was some years back when that initial time when he stabbed that dude came out and shit. And I was like, oh, that's awkward as shit. You promoting this convention and Ricardo was supposed to be there? Like, damn, like that's gonna be a tough sell.
The show got to go on, but
to kind of segue and to kind of put a close on the Batgirl portion of it. Like, so we all know Prey came out a couple of days ago, right? So here's my theory after seeing all the praise this shit got. Again, this is just me, just being hypothetical, right? So let's just say in the perfect world, Ezra Miller wasn't out here rampaging and The Flash came out, right? Or let's just say Perfect World. Okay, Ezra Miller, good, cool. All right, so now you got a bunch of people worried, kind of not worried, but wondering, hey, what's going to be the DCEU after the reset? So my thing is, all right, cool. The next movie down the line is fucking Batgirl. Again, hypothetically, right? You already got Keaton that kind of set himself up in Flashpoint, and then all right, cool. People want to see what's happening with Keaton. You already got a group of people right there, especially like the diehards, especially people who love all the '90s shit, old school DC. That's a group of people that's gonna go over and check this out. You know what I'm saying? Not to say it's gonna be this. Okay, let's just say we have those group of people. All right, Keaton fans, new DCEU fans. That's two groups of people right there. Boom. Let's just say, all right, cool. Fuck the test screening. And it's a solid movie. Word of mouth. And people just start talking about this movie. It's drumming up a lot of interest. Leslie Grace's name is bumping up. The stands are loving it. Even people like me who don't really give a shit about these movies, I like it. So, in a perfect world, let's just say, hey, the movie makes a decent amount of money. It's good. It's solid. People like it. They just fucked themselves over out of God knows how much money. So what was the point? The potential was there. But also I kind of wonder too, just like if this whole Ezra Miller thing wasn't going on, would things have been different? Because at this point, the Flash movie is held up, guys. We don't know when that movie is going to come out. So technically speaking, they don't have to be beholden to anything else really, because it's like, well, if the Flash movie is a question mark, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about Keaton? Who gives a shit about Batgirl? Who gives a shit, right? So that's just me being a conspiracy theorist. I don't know.
I mean, you got a point.
I have
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say now, I don't want to sound like a cynical asshole. Well, we all know that's a lie. But a part of me wonders, is this a publicity stunt? Are they like, oh yeah, it tested poorly, like we don't know if we're gonna release it, and like they're gonna let people on Twitter and online, kick up a stink and tear each other apart, then go, oh, you know what? Upon second consideration, we are gonna drop it on HBO Max to like drum up subscriptions.
So you're thinking a Deadpool situation?
I was thinking this.
Deadpool was not even like fake though. That was real.
Well, the leaks and all that. The leaks.
Oh yeah, that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like that's to me that's entirely within the realm of possibility.
His hand might get. I mean, if Ezra keeps wilding out, I think his hand might get forced on like shit. Well, maybe I should eat the loss and just put out this Batgirl movie. And
I think there is still time this month or next month to decide whether or not they're going to take that right down.
Yeah.
On that movie. So yeah, it's plenty of time to where like, all right, maybe this wasn't the best idea. So but I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen.
Yeah, I think that for like the first couple of hours, I'm like, oh yeah, this might be a publicity stunt. But the moment like we started hearing about like the most random movies getting written down and are now gone forever, like okay, no, that's not. This is literally a sinking ship. But AJ is right. Like I think that like as of now, the 900 million they've written off doesn't include Batgirl. So the 900 million dollars of movies and shows, like those are gone. But like Batgirl is still in limbo. Like I don't think those are filed yet. So if they change their minds, they can. But yeah, not a lot of time until then.
Yeah, because another thing too is just like I feel like a lot of things that get announced, they do get announced, but it takes a while for things to process. I feel like a lot of times when something gets announced, I feel like a lot of us are guilty. It's like, oh, because this gets announced, this means it's happening now. But a lot of the times it's a process. They're just telling you, hey, this is what's going to happen. But there's still that leeway of in the middle of that process, something could change.
Oh yeah, and it's not the first time that this has happened in the universe. It's not the first time that this happened with fucking WB. Remember the damn Wonder Woman show that filmed the pilot? That damn CW Aquaman show that filmed the pilot?
Yep.
Like
they put it in, and they got released online, and we were like, oh, that happened.
Right, and it's like I don't know, like it's
I mean, it got me curious. Like, yo, I hope we get a Roger Corman Fantastic Four situation, and somebody just leaks that shit online so we can see what it would have looked like. Because I'll be honest with you, I think the Wolverine work print boosted the fucking box office for that movie.
It's so much more entertaining than the actual final version, just because of how like incomplete it is.
Yeah.
But
I got some laughs from that work print. I was like, "Whoa, this is happening!" Like, all right,
because you need like Hugh Jackman flies through the air and becomes like a rubber CGI doll, just like flopping around. Like, okay, clearly they haven't added the physics engine to that yet.
Oh man, the Wild Wild West of the internet back in that day was hilarious. When
Yes,
that work print release came out, oh my god, the message boards was like going through the roof.
And you know what? They stuck to their guns, and the only thing they changed was finishing the effects. They didn't change anything else about that movie,
which still looked just as ridiculous even the finished product.
Hey man, listen, Wolverine is one of the greatest movies of all time. I think it completes.
Stop it.
I think it completes the whole whatever story trilogy or whatever, the whole legacy of Hugh Jackman. Okay, so we will not disrespect Wolverine. I'm
not respecting the Wolverine, but Origins, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Origins, yeah. I mean, the Wolverine, 75% a good movie, and then get that after that ninja fight. Woo!
I'll say 90%. I'll say 90% a good movie. You know why? The 10% is that he and what's her face have no chemistry.
I'm just mad my man went through all that trouble just for some fucking bone marrow. I'm like, you could have just asked Logan at the beginning of the movie, like, hey, dog.
He was your friend. He was his friend.
Can you loan me some bone marrow a little bit? That'd be nice.
Nah. But move it.
I'm sorry. Look, I got everybody laughing. I was like, yo, the fact that thing popped in my head, I was like, hold up. My man did all this shit for some fucking bone marrow? Like, wow.
Well, the Japanese are stoic, so he probably felt ashamed to ask him like that,
Stop it, Prime. Stop it.
Yo, Prime.
Robotic Silver Samurai Prime. That was the gambit. Was that the gambit?
I mean, look. I mean, what would a Japanese person rather do? Build a robot or ask a question? I'm just asking.
I mean, that was on brand. I wouldn't. You know what's funny? I wasn't even mad at Robotic Silver Samurai. I'm like, you know what? That's on brand. Fuck it. Why not? Fuck it. You know what? That's cool. I'm fine. I'm not even mad at it.
That is a good question, though.
Bone marrow, I was like, that's interesting. Huh.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Logan would have given it to you. I don't think he's one of those vampire assholes who's like, no, I won't bite you.
He's not like Spider-Man. All right?
I've been like, go fuck yourself, old man, and then bam, web swings out.
But yeah. Speaking of the X-Men cinematic universe, aka I think the most dignified cinematic universe so far. I mean, sorry, but like if Marvel had ended after Endgame, it would have taken the crown, but now it's just embarrassing, and DCEU is going off in flames. So X-Men Cinematic Universe, masterpiece. But speaking of that, we have like Flashpoint. Everyone's talking about like how important Flashpoint is. They can't cancel Flashpoint because that's how they're resetting the universe. You know what? How about just ignore everything? Just come out with a new Superman movie. Superman, first one, ignore the rest.
Just pull a G.I. Joe Retaliation. No, we're not going to ignore the first movie.
No. I mean, just ignore it. Just ignore it. We don't even need to do anything because they want to have a clean slate. They want to have like a new 10-year plan. Just start again. Who cares? Sony did it, and they're like 4 movies into their own cinematic universe. Like
they don't care.
They don't care. Exactly, they don't care. So just do it.
I got it. I got the solution. Why did I think of this earlier? The Omniverse. Everything happened. Boom.
So we're gonna go full on Fox X-Men, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, why not? Like, let's be honest. Like, no one cared that First Class, sucked.
I like First Class.
It was awful movie. But because Days of Your Past was so entertaining, no one cares that X-Men 2 doesn't really fit with X-Men 1. Because X-Men 2 is so entertaining. And no one cares that X-Men 3 sucks because it's no longer exist anymore. Except for sucks.
We got the Juggernaut bitch, and My Way Entertainment got no residuals from it. So there you go.
Yeah.
But speaking of universes, so Dick Eater. I mean, my fault. I need to stop saying that name. So Zaslov or Zaskok. So he recently came out saying that there is a alleged 10-year plan for the DCEU 10-year plan, and he plans to mirror it in the same way as what Kevin Feige is doing over at DC, which is why I said, "Hey, bruh, is you dicking or do you really have a plan?" Because I feel like with the DCEU, bruh, there's been so many goddamn plans.
So to be
There's
fair,
a plan.
Yeah, I think
fine if this was the first 10-year plan. What are we on the
Right.
third?
4.
I
What number
think that's the
4?
problem. There's like too many fucking cooks in the kitchen. Like that's what went wrong.
From my understanding, it's like Zaslov is trying to, and I'm probably like theorizing on this one, but I'm parsing out what was said in the article. He's trying to get it like how Feige has to answer to one person. He isn't answering to multiple people. He's answering because I think right now Feige only answers to
directly.
Yeah, he only directly goes to one person. I think Zaslov is trying to do the same, but at the same time, it's like the way you word it is kind of like what your previous 2 other people have said before.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are we doing here?
Do you guys like follow or read any of the stuff that Richard Newby writes?
Yeah.
All right. So one thing he said today, which I think is really, really like apt, is that like what Prime was saying about the other plans having too many cooks in the kitchen. This plan has no cooks in the kitchen. There's no one there.
That's worse.
Zaslov has said, like, oh, we're going to make a 10-year plan, but in the meanwhile, we're going to like just cancel all the stuff that would have, given us some buffer time. Like there's like, so if you cancel the stuff right now, all the DC movies, they end basically right now with, I think, Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2 is going to be the last DCEU movie, and that's it. For however long it takes for whoever they pick, because they haven't picked anyone yet. There's no one in place to say like, okay, this is going to be the next movie. So how many years is that? How long is that going to be before someone comes up with a workable plan? Like it reminds me of Starship Troopers, after like they get totally creamed by the bugs in the first battle, and then like the old presidents of the Federation has to resign, and they get a new Federation president who's like, "Oh, we have to create a plan to defeat the bugs. we need to understand the bugs to defeat the bugs," and just saying all this like platitudes, all these generic sayings, but not saying anything of any content. And that's like all that's what I said. We need to create a plan. And then we have a bunch of like ridiculous YouTube shills going like, "Oh yeah, DC's getting a plan. DC is saved. 10-year plan. They're taking it seriously." What do you mean they're taking it seriously? There's no plan.
There's no plan, bro.
The plan is to get a plan. That's what's going on here.
It's vibes at this point. That's why I said it feels weird in the fact that like, how is it that in the CW managed to do everything that we wanted the DC universe to do, and now the Flash is ending, and I was like, wow.
What do you mean everything?
Like in terms of they did 3 crisis events. They actually had their makeshift Justice League group.
That only exists like
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint was terrible though. Okay,
but I'm just saying like they
Flashpoint lasted 1 episode.
But they were able to do a lot of stuff, and like I said, whatever you feel about the quality of it, it just felt like they were at least able to do it within the structure of what they established in the CW universe.
The Rogues only lasted for 1 episode.
Yeah. But I think what CJ is trying to say is the fact that it still got done.
Yeah, I get that,
like
and that's despite the movie side handicapping them with the Suicide shit with Arrow season 2 and what they can't do and what they can do. Batwoman. Jesus Christ, Batwoman could have been so great.
What alternate universe are you where the Batwoman could have been great?
It could have.
I want to live on that universe because there's been no great CW shows. So I want to know what universe you're on.
No great.
I don't count Superman and Lois.
Guys, we are not going to turn this into a CW argument.
That's
no.
In my heart, that's an HBO Max show. That's a DC Universe show. From that.
There go.
It's no longer the CW verse. They confirmed that. So,
but still, the fact that your TV show side now that it's getting rebooted with Superman and Lois, it's like the fact that your TV show side had an Arrowverse that lasted so long and did more stuff than the movie side that got rebooted like 3 times over. It's like that's what the movie side should have been. Just had a structure because everything went through Berlanti on all those Arrowverse shows. So, which Naomi I think is the only one. I'm like. Did Berlanti have a hand in that? Because I don't know.
No, I think that was DuVernay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank God. You know, small miracles, but thank God DuVernay isn't working on any DCU stuff anymore.
Man,
I
did
actually
you
think the Lynch
fucking
was gonna
watch
be
DMZ? Did
yeah.
anyone? Was it just me? Was it just me?
Was it
DMZ.
good? Was it good?
Look. There are people that I know. I got friends that are fans of DMZ that look at that show like, "What the fuck is this?"
Bro, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm the biggest DMZ fan. I've only read like I think the first 2 volumes, and I thought it was okay. Bro, that show took everything that was cool and interesting about the comic and tossed all that shit in the trash.
Yo, I know fans that were livid at that show. Like,
Is
what
that show?
is this?
Is that show still in HBO Max?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I was wondering if that would have been like written off already, because no one watched that show. No one did.
Yeah, it was only a miniseries. Thank God.
Guess it was just me then.
Once.
All right.
Yeah.
But
no, for real. Like, CJ does bring up a good point because, like, again, the CW was not perfect. It was not perfect. It had a lot of flaws, but they were able to bang out a lot of shit. Like, the fact that they were even able to do Crisis is crazy. Like, I think Crisis fucking stinks, the fact that they were able to do it, and I think one of the reasons why it was significant, why I will give it some credence, is because, like, there was a lot of time built up for it. You know, like, there was a lot of groundwork. Again, the groundwork may have not been great, but again, it built off of Arrow, it built off of the Flash, it built off of Legends, some of Black Lightning. Like, there was some good foundation there. Like,
yeah,
whereas
they teased it like way back in season 1 of the Flash. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I think for a lot of us, including myself, like, regardless of the quality, I think it's the admiration of they were ambitious about it, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna go and do it."
No,
fuck it.
No,
yeah.
I would have rather they not. I would rather than been lazy and just given up than sit through like 10 years of that bullshit. You know what? I'll admire Fox. Like, I know people don't like the movies and they're really bad adaptations, but they went through a lot of shit. We got Apocalypse, It's Your Past. We got like time travel, aliens. We got soul swapping. We got like World War II. We got a bunch of shit in those. We got Portal Bring. We got Deadpool. We got Old Man Logan. All right.
I would say that Deadpool, at least for me, Deadpool 1 and 2, Logan, 75% of the Wolverine, and I'm gonna say it, the Gifted were like the best things out of the X-Men.
Not even Legion.
Legion. Forgot about Legion. I think a lot of us forget about Legion.
No, man,
Legion
it's always in my mind. It's all. But like, I'll admire the Fox, you know, because like that actually led to like good stuff. I don't want to admire. Like, it's one thing I don't like about the CW like era, which is thankfully ending. Is that a lot of people, you always read like think pieces about like, oh man, people are so spoiled they can't enjoy the joy of these shows, the childlike joy. I don't want to enjoy bullshit. I want to enjoy good stuff. And so, you know, for me, like there might be like 4 or 5 stinker Fox X-Men movies, but all the other ones are like top notch. So that'll be mine.
I mean, it's one of those things you have to recognize what you have and stuff. And it's just on the movie side, you just hope like, all right, guys, let's see what you got. But like, damn, can I get some consistency here for at least 3 years before we start, you know, mulliganing it again?
I would rather not.
And also too, like,
I like variety.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we had DC fandom, they were low-key teasing Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I thought was insane, bro. Your universe done rebooted. It done has so many cooks.
Can I make sure the Suicide Squad is good first before we start?
What do you mean teasing Crisis on Infinite Earths, man? Like, you can barely even get Cavill back. You swapping out Batman every 5 minutes.
I don't believe that story until I see Cavill sign on the dotted line and he in a Superman suit.
He's not going back, and that's what's most pathetic.
You don't think he's coming back?
No way, no. But like, you know, that's what's most pathetic about these people going like, oh, thank God they got rid of shitty Batgirl, and they're not going to make a Black Adam 2 or Shazam 3. That way, they're clearing the space for the Snyderverse to return. Like, you are so delusional.
They don't want to stop. Dude, I was there in the room when Jim Lee literally said, yo, we're not doing a Snyderverse. He said that shit like, yo, straight up. And motherfuckers really thought he was lying. I'm like, no, I was in the room, guys. He said that shit. They ain't just.
It's done. It's
rumors.
dead.
It's done.
D-U-D. Dead. It's done.
They gave, and that's part of Zaslov's little error. He's like, look, we threw money at the Snyder Cut. It did what it did, but no, we can't do that anymore.
Oh man, that's why I don't know, man. That's why, you know, to take it back to this 10-year plan, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe it. Like, obviously when these news reports come out, they're throwing the picture of Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Cavill. But again, it's just like, bro, you can't even lock these people in, bro. Like I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Gal Gadot getting her
Gadot's
Wonder
fine.
Woman 3, obviously.
Yeah, she getting Wonder Woman 3, but
I think that's in the air. I think that's I don't know. Like, does Patty Jenkins have that much leverage at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
again,
she's contractually obligated for a third one. Let's get that out the way.
But those like contracts right now, I think there's that big reason that people are saying right now, which makes almost too much sense. That the fact that Marvel is sleeping on rebooting the X-Men for right now, and they're like really, really stretching it out, is because the actors are locked in for like 10 years. And so they can't.
I think like another 2 years they'll finally expire. Apparently.
Exactly, and so which makes sense. Which I think everyone owes an apology to Alexandra Shipp, because everyone's like, "Oh, she's so snotty," and like.
Why in a contract like, "Hey, I can be in Black Panther," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's nice," but they're not going to let you.
Yeah, but like, I think everyone got her case when she was like, "Oh, you think they're really going to recast me as Storm?" And everyone got her case like, if that was in her contract, then sure, she can go. No, she can.
Yeah, because all that stuff from Fox carried over in that merger deal.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
They pretty much.
She deserved to be smug. If that was in the contract, I'd be smug too. Like,
maybe I might be in the MCU. Maybe I'm like, they do a multiverse. He might have a point.
Exactly. But at this point, I feel like they would just wait out again. I go back to Zaslov wanting a clean slate, and I don't see any reason to continue any of these movies if you want a clean slate.
Yeah, I mean,
because it is sending mixed messages when you go like the Snyderverse is dead, but his Aquaman is getting a sequel. Shazam, which is clearly rooted in the Snyder universe, it has a movie. The Flash movie with Snyder's Flash is coming out, and Black Adam
has Amanda Waller and all that stuff.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Peacemaker's getting to season 2, so like, what you're sending mixed messages, bro. Like, which one is it? Shit or get out the park?
And also, you're telling your creatives, hey, you can make your movie, but if we don't think it's up to snuff. Don't matter if it's done, it's axed. And I'm like, damn, like, fuck. I mean,
I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that it's anything to do with quality. It just has to do with like, we gotta make sure that we gotta say the most clean, most nice PR thing ever. Oh, we didn't believe in it. It has nothing to do with the fact that I want to like make everything theatrical, and I also want $70 million. Has nothing to do with that.
I think all of his statements blow up as soon as one of these films make like 800 million or more. Like let Shazam just be absolute fire.
Oh, if it does better than the first movie,
it has
exactly. See, like that's what I'm getting at. I think money's going to be the one. Money and impressing the stockholders are going to be the one thing he cares about the most, and he might be forced, not continuing the Snyderverse or whatever, but just forced to stick with the quote unquote plan that these movies have been on for the last since 2013. So who knows?
Hypothetically,
I think until they get somebody in there, we can take none of this at face value.
Hypothetically, if Shazam 3 and Black Adam both make like 800 million each, and they're both like barn burners, and you can't ignore them, right? If they make like a Shazam 3 or like a crossover movie with like Black Adam, like Monster Society Evil event movie kind of thing, like Zaslov says he wants, I think that those two will be so totally divorced from the DCEU. You won't see any references to like Superman. You won't see any references to Batman or just like the OG.
And that's even with The Rock, like, yo, we got to get Superman in it. And I'm like,
they'll be like, okay, you want your third movie, your sequel, you can have it because you made a lot of money, but that's gonna be it. You're gonna get like your finale movie, Monster Society Evil. I think like that would be the cleanest way to do it. That's it. I don't think these movies are gonna make that much money.
I think I'll even say that. I'll even take it a step further. Again, let's just say Shazam makes X amount of money, Aquaman makes a lot of money, but it doesn't fit into this plan or whatever. And let's just say Zaslov just wants to wipe the slate clean. We can also just turn these movies into their own individual franchises. They don't got to connect with each other. They don't got to talk about each other. If you just want to stick to Aquaman, you stick to Aquaman. Aquaman is not talking about the Justice League. He's not talking about Batman. Get rid of them fucking reshoots. Get Ben Affleck out of here. Keep it self-contained. You want Black Adam, you want Shazam, have them do their own thing. We already got the whole thing happening with Matt Reeves and this Batman. He don't got to connect to nothing. Everything turns into their own individual franchise. Like, cold cut, no more references, no nothing. And then let's just say if he wants to continue and progress this 10-year plan with whatever rest of movies that's left, he can do that. But again, you can't ignore it when something makes that much money. We see it all the time. Like, for fuck's sake, people were saying no Joker 2, but at the same time, I understand why a Joker 2 movie was greenlit, because the first movie made so much fucking money.
And yeah,
you know
look at the Sony pictures. He was like, well, why does Sony keep making these movies? No one's watching them. You know why? Because you keep watching Spider-Man No Way Home, and Sony considers that part of this universe.
Yep.
You know,
despite Marvel flexing like, yeah, we don't talk about those stuff, Venom and all that stuff. So no, y'all have that.
To be fair, the road to Sinister Six makes a lot more sense than the road to Kang Dynasty at this point. All right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go.
How is this the multiverse saga? Like, what does Black Widow have the multiverse?
That's the only one out of it that's odd man out, and that could. And look, I agree with folks that
what does Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier do to the multiverse?
Street level stuff, because everything about
what does Hawkeye have to do to the multiverse?
Daredevil, She-Hulk, Hawkeye, Echo, all that. I mean, let's be real. Like, that's like saying, what does Daredevil have to do with Secret Empire? He was in Secret Empire. He had his little mini story in that.
We're talking about we're not talking about comics.
But that's the logic of these. That's the logic of these shows, though. These logic of these shows is like comic books.
So not is it really? Is it?
It is.
You're making an Echo TV show, for God's sakes.
It is.
Listen. I promise we will have this.
But let's be real. But let's be real. If you're going back to DC can't say that they can do like you said. We were talking about Hawkman getting a movie. I'm like, that's a tall order.
No,
very tall order.
I wanted to put this up to the group. I was talking about this with AJ and Ro. Now, what do you guys think would feasibly, now within what Zaslov has said as his rubric, one, theatrical only, big blockbuster budget, and also event spectacle, all right, and top tier characters. Within those rubrics, how many movies do you actually think he can? How far in terms of movies can he go into this 10-year plan before it falls apart?
I mean, number one, he could actually do a standalone Justice Society movie, but he's going to have to get some big name characters as part of Justice Society for that to work. Because the team that's right there now, you're going to basically use Pierce Brosnan as your face because he is the veteran talent that people know because it's James Bond. But you're going to have to get, because who else is on the Justice Society? Stargirl, but you already got a TV show about Stargirl, so you're gonna get somebody new to be Stargirl now.
To be fair, apparently Cyclone was meant to be Stargirl and all that shit, but because she had the show, they had to write her out.
Ironic, huh? But you know what? Not even gonna talk about that because
there's a JSA embargo. So here's how I see it going. I see them making a new Superman movie. I see them either like retrofitting Pattinson to be a part of this new slate, or making a new Batman movie. And then I see them realizing this plan can't ever succeed. And then because like recently, like again, like are you gonna spend like $200 million on a Green Arrow movie? I know they're
hell no.
Hey,
they're throwing money at a Black Canary movie.
Oh no! See, I want to bring it up too. I see. Like I've said before, like the stock is like 40% plummeting, right? And so it's a bit weird on like its fourth day of consecutive drops that we're suddenly getting all these unconfirmed but credible rumors that all of these projects are still going ahead. It's almost like saying, "Hey, all those projects that would have made us money are no longer on the table." It was a bad idea, and so now they're scrambling, saying, "Oh, this is actually still in development." Like
we know Peacemaker for sure because James Gunn was like, "Yeah, guys, we're fine." Which that doesn't mean season 3 is going to happen, but you know,
or any of the spinoffs are going to happen. Like James Gunn was like, "We got to make more Peacemaker, Suicide Squad spinoffs." Yeah, like those aren't happening. But like, it's so weird to be like, "Oh, Black Canary, yeah, sure. The script is still being developed for that." Like, no, these are all lies. These are all frosty and lies.
That's the thing, because I'm not sure if I believe that. I'm not sure if I believe that at all, because again, Black Canary is, I want to say Batgirl and Black Canary are kind of still they still have those same little microscopes. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, AJ, I apologize, but I know you love, journey. I know you love that Black Canary, but
I fully don't believe it's happening, but I'm going to keep being naive as long as I can.
Hey, we all are naive. We're all like, come on, man, let's see this happen.
Because it's
like,
the same thing here, right? Like, Black Canary, the Black Canary that they play in, it is not the same traditionally white one. You know what I'm saying? It's a woman. And then again, you always got to throw in the Snyder folk people in there too. So it's just like,
it's a tough sell, kind of like the Arrow TV show was, where they had to sell the angle of him basically, as much as we joked about it, they had to sell the idea of him being basically Batman with a bow and arrow initially.
Exactly. So I remember what I said earlier, like an hour ago. I said, bro, listen, they're saying a lot of things, but again, the process has not begun yet. So I wouldn't be surprised, bro, if we just got this report, Black Canary is continuing, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if during
2 weeks later,
Black Canary getting canned, because again, it falls into that same. It falls into that same thing.
And I'm sorry, Misha Green. All of her projects seem to be cursed right now. So,
I mean, it's kind of weird too, because like I think Zaslov's thing is like he's trying to keep these projects under a certain budget. I don't know what the money budget he's looking for to keep them under budget, but I mean, it looks like it's going to probably be cheap. Which I'm like, well, now you're back to square one with what you didn't like about Batgirl being cheap. So like, what's the money here? What are we doing here? Because how are you any different than everybody critiquing Marvel on not paying their visual effects artists money?
Exactly.
And now you're cheaping out on your product, and it's like you're going to have to pay money to get to that point. I mean, let's be real. Somebody brought up a good point. It might be the guy that you were saying, where he was saying, hey, look, Marvel learned in phase 1, like, look, you're going to have to make your $500,000, $600,000, $400,000 in your box office movies to work up to that billion. You're not going to get your billion out of the gate.
And you can't use your A-list all the time. Like DC's A-list in terms of movies is like 3 characters, 4 characters. That's not enough
it's
to
like
fill out.
Green Lantern. It depends on the Green Lantern too. That's the other aspect of that. So it's so much stuff.
Yes. It's like that's not enough to fill out a 10-year plan. That's what I'm saying. Like this plan can't work under what this guy thinks. Like he wants big budgets. He wants big returns. He wants grand spectacle focus. And like are you saying like, oh yeah, they could do a JSA movie, but in my purview, the JSA don't fit this criteria.
It's like it's like they would have to literally put somebody from the Justice League on the JSA that's never been a JSA member, just for name recognition. Like they would have to throw Wonder Woman on JSA.
She was on JSA.
Oh, she was.
I was just going to say, Wonder Woman was on JSA.
Yeah, but like not in this universe. Or like, and I don't even think they would make a JSA movie.
Let Prime go.
But as much as I would love a JSA movie, they could do some crazy ass shit to say, actually, it was Hippolyta who was Wonder Woman doing World War II, but we just didn't see that.
Prime, that means they're smart. All right, come on now.
I do have a question also. Like it makes me wonder. I don't know. Again, I'm trying not to be mean, but I guess I'm gonna sound mean. It just seems like the whole thing is cursed, because it seems like every new person that steps into the role, it seems like one person's more dumber than the other, or the other person is just as dumb as the last person.
Or they're undermining something in order to push a narrative. Like yeah.
So it's just like, seriously, what is going on over there? Because it's literally the same thing. It's just like they always seem to fall back on, we want to do what the MCU did. It feels like this is just like, it's like a broken record at this point. We want to copy Kevin Feige. We want to do what the MCU did. It's just like, bro, I don't know how many times we can tell you, you can't do it. You don't have a foundation.
I mean, that's what happens when you change ownership so many times. And
bro, they changed more ownership than any other company.
Yes.
We should have been on Just League 3 by now,
bruh.
Say we should have been on Blackest Night like 5 years ago.
Yo.
And I hate with the MCU too right now, because they're like if you think about like the Infinity Saga, it was one Avengers movie every wave,
every phase basically.
Yeah, and now he's like, Avengers movie only at the end of every saga, and I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard, because it means that we're never gonna see the Avengers team together and get to know them as a team.
But the upside is like at the same time, I see because everybody wants to see the X-Men now, and I'm like, no, he's working towards the X-Men being kind of like the leading team going into the next phase, clearly. So it's like
it's only if they only had like 20 years of like history, to work with.
Oh,
but
boy.
I mean, let's be real. It's kind of weird because DC has had all their toys from day one, and they're still trying to struggle for a universe. And Marvel had to deal with the patchwork of all the shitty contracts they had with other studios, and somehow got something. And I'm like,
still
damn,
made it
like,
work. Still.
I don't want to like go back to the Sony well, but I'll say this: they made one mistake with Spider-Man, and that movie still made a profit. Amazing Spider-Man 2. That movie still made a profit. It didn't do badly in the box office. They could have still done all their cinematic universe stuff with that movie. They decided not to, and they waited about 6 more years, and now they're like 4 movies deep because they're planning it out, bro.
But now they're doing the villain cinematic universe. That's like, so why is Kraven the good guy again? Like, why? What's the point?
He's still hunting. He's still hunting a man. So.
Oh, brother.
When has he ever hunted an animal in the comics? Name one time.
True. But now it's like, hey, I am Kraven,
He's hunting the chameleon. That should be cool. They don't make that cool. I'll rescind this statement. But the villain is the chameleon. All right. And I don't know. I feel like there's always been a lot of entertaining stuff in these movies, no matter how iffy they are.
I mean, I feel Venom is like the only series that has at least something that you can pull from, and it's been fine. Morbius
exactly.
Morbius irked me so much. I'm like, what is this?
Personally, I see it like they're following the MCU model to beat for beat, because Venom is like their Iron Man. Venom is like their Iron Man series. That's their prestige series. They're putting the most work into it. They're letting the creatives and the actors really kind of guide that series. And then you have what was the second one? Second one was Morbius. Morbius is their Incredible Hulk. Where Incredible Hulk was like that weird one that was a bit too focused on cinematic universe bullshit, and it's probably never gonna get a sequel, and probably shouldn't. And the next time you see him, it's gonna be recasted because no one wants to see Jared Leto, and that means that Kraven is gonna be their Thor, which is gonna be like that kind of weird one that people like, even though it's kind of like lame.
Yeah, but notice what you just said here. That sounds like, again, quality aside, it still sounds like a very cohesive plan. It sounds like they're sticking to it.
Granted, I think Sony should stick to just doing animated movies, and that will work out.
Does that mean Elmo Ultra's gonna be their Captain America?
No. Madam Web is gonna be their Captain.
Madam Web is their Captain America.
Yeah, because that's gonna be explaining the backstory and like the main villain of the saga. They probably introduced Morlun and that shit.
But again, everything you just laid out sounds.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's cohesive. Again,
they learn from their mistakes.
And again, to go back to this, bro, ain't none of this sound cohesive. Like nothing here. What I'm hearing from Zaslov sounds cohesive as fuck. Like it sounds like a mess. Like I say I say that whatever this plan is, it goes on for at least. I'm gonna be nice. 3 years. 3. I'm gonna give it 3.
I give it a year.
I'm gonna give it 3 because I feel like they might be able to get some things off. They're gonna give it a proper go. I think 3 years is enough time, and then I think then after this last 10-year plan, that is it. They're gonna pull the plug. It's either gonna be 2 options. It's either, bro, we wipe this entire universe clean, we start new, or it's either bro, none of this shit is connected, or it's omniverse, it all happened, or everybody just focuses on the individual universes. I think Matt Reeves' Batman, that's a bag right there. You don't want to touch that. You want to leave that alone. Depending on if Aquaman does
option 3, we pull an AT&T and we just sell Warner Brothers because we don't want to deal with the headache.
I mean,
yep. That's a plan.
Yeah,
that's all.
You know what? I'm gonna be more generous. I'm gonna say it lasts 0 years. Like they don't even get to that new Superman movie.
I give them to next year Comic-Con, just so because they have something to announce, and then after that, that's when it's like, I don't know, man.
We're gonna see their slate. It's gonna be like it's just be like, oh, we got a new Batman and Superman movie and a new Wonder movie in the works, and then we're never gonna hear that shit again.
Because that shit, that's it. Yeah, yeah. You
Let me toss this out there. So you know how we had that whole big debacle about Black Superman?
Oh my
God, I
Black
forgot about
Superman?
that.
Yo, so remember how
That's
we
still
don't
gonna
we
be on
have
the table if he can't talk Cavill back. I guarantee you.
here's what I was gonna say, right? Because I remember we spoke about this on the podcast. We theorized because of the backlash that it received, like the backlash was crazy. There's a reason why we haven't heard anything about this movie. So I feel like after all the backlash, who knows? Maybe after all the backlash this recent news has received, what if this is it? What if we don't hear anything else? What if we don't hear anything else?
This is radio silence.
Just complete radio silence.
I mean, it would make sense. Again, like I'm saying, with all the damage control about like, oh yeah, Bloodsport's getting his own TV show, all that bullshit. Like you're like, okay, they're trying to walk some of this shit back.
Trying to get Idris to stay locked in with DC.
Although my theory is that his project with DC isn't Bloodsport, you know, because they also like filed the copyright for the HBO Max Constantine series. Maybe he's playing Constantine.
But Constantine is in the Sandman show though.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, she is.
But again, they again the HBO Max, you know, they still made that copyright. That's a new thing. That's legit. So, you know, I would rather see the female Constantine, you know, but maybe if they're stubborn enough, they'll try to snipe it.
I mean, that's what they do. They're petty like that. that's what they always do. I mean, it's the HBO Max way.
So I know we're reaching an hour and stuff, but you know I kind of want to get to a little close here. So I don't know, let's just end this by saying, so how do you think all this is going to play out, man? Like I mean, Prime, I know we haven't heard much from you. Like, how do you think this whole thing going to turn out, bro? Like let's hear your thoughts.
Realistically, I would, in a perfect world, I would love for all this to work out, but history shows us that there's going to be some fuck ups along the way. Now, if I had my way, if I could rub a genie's belly, I would fucking love to get Cavill back to do Superman for fucking ever. He should have done 6 Superman movies if I was in any control, but I'm not. I feel like one of the issues we've been having is that there's not that much concise messages, because I'm going to be 100% honest with you all. I don't believe anything /Cock is saying. Like, it's all company speak, and he's a corporate ghoul. So anytime he speaks, you need to be listening with the keen ear for what's not being said or what's being put in between the lines.
You're sounding pretty female skew right there, Prime Gun.
You know, and we can discuss about that, because all he talks is he speaks and talks in dollars. You know, I understand you want to please your conjectures. I get that, whatever, though. But it's so fucking frustrating as someone who loves these characters, as someone who loves these properties, as someone who loves these stories, to constantly hear people going, "Oh, we just want to do what Marvel did. Want to do what Marvel did." Marvel did lightning in a bottle, and they didn't even realize what they had, because I don't know, I think it was on the Avengers Blu-ray, or it was on like a special edition, something where they were talking about, you know, building the cinematic universe, trying to make it sound like they had a grand master plan. These motherfuckers didn't realize they had the founding Avengers as the movie license until they were putting shit on the board and going, "Hey, wait a minute, aren't these guys on a team together?"
Yeah, I think Feige was like the only one. Everybody else was like, "Hold up, they are the founding Avengers," and Feige was like, "Yes, guys, they're the founding Avengers." Like,
so you know, yeah, it's so fucking frustrating, because like I get tired of hearing, "Let's just copy what Marvel do." How about you just tell a good fucking story?
Every studio has been copying Marvel and learned the wrong fucking lessons, so maybe don't copy them.
Maybe just do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody said it best. You know how DC could have dick slapped Marvel first movie out the gate? Not even Man of Steel, Justice League. That would have dick slapped Marvel in the fucking.
That was the plan with Mortal, though.
I said the same fucking thing, and people looked at me like crazy. Well, nobody knows, but Marvel had to build the characters up. People know who the fucking DC characters are, though.
Bro.
Thank you.
We know, bro. We know who Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all that. And if you want to do a Justice League movie,
and they had the fucking plan. That was Justice League Mortal with George Miller. Like you could have adapted that or steamrolled it out.
Dog, Bruce Timm made a Justice League cartoon. If you never had watched Batman an animated series or Superman an animated series, he made Justice League, and you could watch those first 3 episodes not knowing shit about the previous shows, and you were good.
and they threw in a bunch of other characters in there as well. You didn't need to introduce them. The show,
Wonder Woman came in there and saved the day, and I was like, "Oh shit, Wonder Woman!"
Exactly.
All right,
they have so much they have so much cultural cachet that they're not like at all breaching. And it's not just the main three. It's so many different small little characters because people watch these cartoons.
People look at me like I'm crazy when I say that shit. I'm like, DC has touched generations. Like, there are motherfuckers who grew up watching fucking Super Friends. There are motherfuckers who grew up watching all the characters who appeared on Smallville. Motherfuckers who grew up watching all the characters who appeared in the DC animated universe. Motherfuckers have now grown up watching them in the goddamn Arrowverse. Like, people know who these characters are. Like, they're not fucking obscure. Like, it's so fucking mind-boggling. Like,
Marvel would have legit been. Marvel would have been legit.
Collective cognitive dissonance on people are getting on my last.
Dude, Marvel would have been shook. Like, oh shit, Justice League, and yeah.
I was gonna say this also. Like, I mentioned this not too long ago, and man, I want to walk this back, right? Because I said DC doesn't have a foundation for them to do this, 10-year plan. But at the same time, you bring up a good point, because it's just like they could have just came out the gate with a Justice League movie, and again, they do have the foundation there, because not only do they have the source material, but they have all these fucking shows, all these animated movies, all these live action movies. Like, so people, if they really want to go and do their research, bro, it's a lot of the shit's right there on HBO Max, or you could just go buy it on YouTube or whatever. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna say, don't worry, the Wikipedia warriors, they'll have your back.
Exactly.
Any questions you might have,
and YouTube, and the people who do fucking video essays, Comic Story, and all those guys. Like, boom, watch one of their videos. You got everything you need in like half an hour or less. Go into the fucking movie. Boom. The end.
I mean, I got looked at Crazy Prime the same way. I think you might have saw me when I said it. I was like, could have just made a Justice League movie and Starro would have been your first bad guy. Boom.
That's the same shit I said. Motherfuckers look at me like I lost my damn mind. Like, what the fuck?
And again, I think a lot of it too is, again, because the MCU did, again, quality aside, it set shockwaves to not only, pop culture, but the superhero genre as well. And even just the movie industry, bro, again, like to the point where it's just like, everybody feels like they gotta have a cinematic universe. And again, a lot of companies have learned the wrong lesson from that. Me and Elvis love bringing this shit up. Fast and Furious learned this the wrong way too. Like, they lucked up though. To be fair, but they lucked up. They got Hobbs and Shaw, but at the same time now, what they're trying to do a Cypher movie, right? So
I don't think that's happening though.
Well, so this in the works, but I think what I was gonna say is because of them trying to set up a Cypher movie, like, you fucked up the last two movies trying to build her up as this big bad, but it's not working. Like, what?
And you're trying to bring back Paul Walker for the 10th one?
With it.
And you're trying to bring back Paul Walker, dead body, for the 10th one? I'm like...
Exactly, man. Now, imagine a perfect world where, everybody just wanted to do their own thing. Put out as many movies you want to do. You don't need to worry about it expanding into this big universe. So I think it's a blessing and a curse. Actually, more a curse. Because I think the MCU should have just been its own thing. But again, in the world of business, when you see something successful, you want to emulate it, but from what I've seen, I don't know if it's really working for a lot of these companies. And it seems like DC, out of everybody, is more focused on, we need to copy them. But bro, you fumbled this bag too many times to the point where when I see something like this, you got a 10-year plan.
You sure?
Bro, it's not making it. Bro, the plan's not making it past 3 years, dog.
I'm gonna say Ron Burgundy tap on the table. I don't believe you.
Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, I got nothing.
And I agree. Like, they have wasted a lot of cultural cachet and the cultural relevance of these characters. And for good or for worse, like, I agree with you, Ro. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it changed the landscape for the Bond, where all these companies are throwing good dollar after bad, trying to copy it. And it's just it's very frustrating, because I had a conversation with somebody once, and they were like, well, they should just do what Marvel do. Like, all comic movies should be like Marvel movies. I'm like, oh no, they should not be.
No.
You kind of don't want that. It's like once you have something the same. That's what made the Arrowverse different from Marvel's thing, because the shows, thankfully, were able to be stand alone by themselves. So when they did crossover, it felt special.
Yes.
Same thing with the Fox X-Men universe movies. Like, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, yeah, personally, yeah, I don't want to see the MCU fired from hell. Maybe that's just me. Maybe.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, and look, I love Deadpool. I think the shocking thing about Deadpool, especially the second one, what shocked me was seeing fucking Juggernaut, and it's like, oh, so we're doing Juggernaut. All right, cool. And it had no connection to the X-Men films, and I was fine with it. It's like, all right, cool.
You know, one thing about that is that they would cross over, but each of the main kind of series had their own flavor. Yeah, you had the main X-Men team movies, and those were like your Professor X, Magneto, Wolverine kind of like movies.
Yeah.
And then you had the Wolverine movies, which were like adapting successfully or not these big like main storylines.
The Adventures of Wolverine.
Yeah, Adventures of Wolverine.
Or whatever.
And then you had like Deadpool, which was like, okay, we're going to reference all the rest of the stuff that they're not referencing, like all the inconsistencies, all the stuff they're leaving behind. We're going to make jokes about all of that. And I felt, even though it wasn't consistent, it felt still like parts of a whole.
Yeah. Which is what it should be. I mean, you should have your fun, and it's just like, I just want these movies. Look, I felt some way of the fact that like when we finally got out of Whedon's Justice League, and the next movie after that was Aquaman, I was like, thank you. We're actually having fun with this. We're getting something. I'm cool with it. And whatever you felt about the Harley Quinn movie, I was fine with it because it felt like a side movie. Like it didn't have any sort of big overt connections. All right, let's go. And it's,
And I want to add this in too. It's just like, I'm a sucker for crossovers, like, I mean, one of the reasons why, I loved Power Rangers for as many years as I did is, because of the crossovers, but, they didn't just throw these crossovers together. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, you had one season where they built up the entire team. Then next season, you had another team that was being built up. So by the time you hit midway to that second season, the team is already established. The new team is already established. Then you have the previous team, which is already established. So when that crossover happens, it's sweet. It feels genuine. Like everybody's on good vibes. But I feel like with this Justice League, whatever's happening with the DCEU, like, I'm sorry. Like, I saw the Peacemaker clip where, Aquaman, the Flash, and them, like, bro, I get why people were excited. But as somebody who's been paying attention, sure, I stopped to watch the show again to get the full feel of it. But I already know right off the jump. It's just like, y'all universe is so jumbled up. It's just like it
was fun to see it, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, bro, it don't feel the same versus like the Avengers. Like, I love Infinity War, way more of an Endgame. I hate Endgame, but one of the reasons why I like Infinity War is because when you seen these characters interact, bro, it felt genuine. It felt like, yo, we know who Spider-Man is. We know who Star-Lord is. We know who Tony Stark is. So when they're all meeting together on one screen, it's just like, it's all these different established histories meeting together and mingling, and it flows well and it's good vibes. The DC, you don't got that, bro. And I would love for it to get there, but I fear it's never going to happen. Like, this is, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I hate to sound like one of those guys on YouTube, but hey, but this shit dead in the water, bro. I'm sorry. It is dead.
And the thing is, like, even in the comics, that's kind of like how it's always been between the two companies. Like, you don't read like a Wonder Woman comic to like catch a glimpse of any other DCU characters. You want to see a Wonder Woman comic that's telling a Wonder Woman story.
At most, you might see Cassandra pop up in there. You know, that's about it.
And like you don't like, they've always been so strictly separate. And so I'm wondering, like, again, if they should just stop and just focus on making good series. Like, hey, like, instead of maybe making like a DC universe, maybe like make a Superman saga. Like, hey, maybe we can make more than 3 movies out of Superman. Maybe we can make like 4 movies, 5 movies, 6 movies. Like, do an actual Superman franchise series of films. If Mission Impossible and Fast and the Furious can get to like 11 movies, 12 movies each,
but
Superman could too.
But let's be real. After seeing Top Gun Maverick, I think it says a lot to something that me and you guys have said. It's the aspect that, especially after seeing Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise gives a fuck about entertaining folks. And like, and when you hear him talk about like doing a sequel to Top Gun, he was like, "Yo, I had very much a lot of apprehensions about it, and I didn't want to just rush into it. I wanted to make sure that the story was right. And yes, it took 30 years or whatever to do this, but I just wanted to make sure the story was right." And that's all you really need and even beyond just making the story right, you just want to make sure that you put out something that's going to entertain people and make them have fun with it, which is why everybody loved the first Shazam movie, because it was genuine, like, oh, this is fun. This is entertaining. Thank you.
And that's what makes me so excited for the second one. And just,
I saw that clip at Comic-Con. I was like, they got me.
You know what? And, I'm going to say, it's also what I appreciate about Wonder Woman 2. I don't like Wonder Woman 2 needed like 5 more drafts. It was clearly a first draft. I don't think I don't think they gave Patty any notes on that script. All right.
You think she got a script? That wasn't just a fucking outline on a napkin?
I feel like it was
first off, Prime, that's mean as shit, but you're right.
It was specific. I'll say draft because it was too specific. It was too specific to be if it was an outline, it would probably have been better, because at that point you feel like, you know what, I'm not too attached to this part where she hurts a rapist and trying to make it seem like she's a villain. Like if you wouldn't be able to fit that on a napkin. So I'll say it was a script. But I feel like it was very attached to the idea of Wonder Woman a lot more. I appreciate that. I think it's a very, at its heart, it's trying to be a very fun, classic 80s Wonder Woman story.
College grade paper Wonder Woman show movie.
But yeah, we're missing that. like even with Aquaman, it's clear. I don't like Aquaman as much as people do.
That was 3 movies in one, but god damn it, James Wan was like, all right, go for broke.
Yeah, I think it was pretty boring, honestly. But it's clear James Wan cares about what the character's history is, what the character's relationships are, especially with the villains, and he made that the focus.
He got me with Black Manta and fucking Ocean Master. I was like,
why did they hide? Why did they keep the Black Manta movie secret?
I know, right?
Oh, they're making a movie about the trench? That sounds so boring. Of course it's gonna be negative. But we've said Black Manta movie where he's fighting the trench and like a deserted island.
Take my fucking money.
That's what makes me irk me, because they initially pawned it off as like it was just gonna be about the trench. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but then that fact that they did, like you said, they just announced it. It's like, it was actually gonna be Black Manta in the trench. I'm like, you could have led with that.
Yeah, Black Manta trying to survive a night with the trench. Yes, god damn it, yes.
And I was going to add this in too. I love making this point, especially when it comes to comics. Again, just to refer to, Zaslov trying to copy DC. Like, one of the reasons why I love Marvel right now is because it's giving me that individual franchise feel. Yes, the comic books do tie into each other, but very loosely. They'll have the little crossovers, but still everybody's doing their own thing. Daredevil is in Daredevil's little pocket. It don't matter that you got it doesn't matter that you got
he popped up
Elektra in Daredevil.
What was the last arc where Luke Cage became mayor?
Devil's Reign.
Devil's Reign. It doesn't matter. Daredevil popped up in that. Don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter that Elektra's over there running around with Savage Avengers when a week ago, she's over there in New York. Bro, it don't matter. It don't matter, because when I open up that book, that is that story, and when I open up that book, it's that story. And that's what makes it work. Whereas DC, yes, DC is a little bit more intricate. Yes, you may have to read one book and it kind of falls into another book, but again, that's 2 separate things, and I like that. You see what I'm saying? That's what makes them slap to me. Again, it would be boring if I was getting the same exact shit that I'm getting from Marvel and the same exact shit I'm getting from DC. So again, that's why I'm always stressing in this case, just like individuality, because you have instances where individuality works. Again, Elvis just said it perfectly, bro. We are on our 10th Fast and Furious movie film. We are on our what number Top Gun is it? 10? Which one?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
It's like 8 or something like that.
Whatever. I don't watch
every Mission Impossible. I'm like, all right, Tom Cruise, how are you going to kill yourself this time?
Yeah, so
I don't know. Those missions looking really possible.
Well,
Look, man. Look.
his heart stopped in the last one. Okay, so he was dead.
Look. When he did that fucking loop de loop with the helicopter, I was like, get the fuck out of here. All right, you know what? It's like you said, Prime. It's possible. Clearly, this is not impossible anymore.
Yeah. So it's just like individuality works, guys. Like, and I feel like they just need to hone in on that. But again, as if I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna keep repeating myself by saying is like, even if they do somehow get their shit together, which I doubt, because it just feels like every single person that jumps in this position is just more of a dumbass than the last one. That's why I'm saying this whole entire thing is fucked.
Here's the sick part. I agree. I have a sick idea that Feige's like, come on, DC, can you succeed so we can at least get one failure on our side so we can just, all right, guys, we failed. We're good. No pressure. We failed. We're good. Because even with Eternals, I love that movie. I kind of get why people say that's a failure, but even Feige's like, fuck, people actually like the damn movie. The critics like it. Fuck.
You know what? You know what's crazy about Eternals is that I really love that movie. I think it's one of the best MC movies ever made. I think all the ideas for a sequel sound like shit. All of
because they're trying to placate everybody that felt it was boring. So it's that's why I was like, Feige's like, come on, DC, can you get success going so we can fail, please? Like
one time, please.
One time, please.
No,
I don't know. They're clearing failures on TV front. So
hey, clearly it ain't meaning nothing because they still greenlighting that Moon Knight season 2. So they're like,
ridiculous. I want to vomit.
Failure, but because here's the genius part. Here's the genius part, and I know I'm gonna get some hate for this. They've put themselves in a position where they can fail. Even the shit that sucks, people still check it out, and it makes a fucking profit.
It's so insane. It makes me feel like I'm drinking crazy pills.
That's why I was like, because Feige had made that statement. This is before. I think this is like right during the end of Phase 3. He was like, "Look, I'm rooting for DC. I want to see it succeed because if we succeed, they succeed. I just want everybody eating." And that's why I was like, I really feel he's like, come on, DC, I want us to fail, please, just so we can, please.
He wants DC to succeed because they know that Sony's right on their heels, man.
Sony ain't on their heels, dog.
We're gonna get.
If they go, put it this way, if Sony had went animated for their universe, you will be right. You will be 100% right because animated gives them so much leeway to do whatever the fuck they want.
You're saying that in the live action Spider-Verse movie, we're not going to see the animated Spider-Verse characters?
I think it's the opposite.
I think we're going to see it. In Across Spider-Verse, we're probably going to see that too. But I think that it's very telling that with the first look we saw into the Spider-Verse, right? It was framed as like, ooh, in another universe teaser at the end of Venom, all right? Like that was their Nick Fury moment. Like, oh yeah, we're doing all this multiverse bullshit.
I was gonna toss this in there. Somebody brought up animation, bro. I think at this point, some of DC's strongest work is the animated front. Honestly, bro, it's cheaper. No, I think honestly, bro, if you really want to restart a whole entire universe, like really start from scratch, they can do it because I think they had a reset recently with that last was it Justice League Dark?
Yeah, Justice League Dark. Apocalypse War, which was
I got to disagree with you, Ro. I know what you're saying, but them tying all those things together ruined those movies.
They ruined Teen Titans, to be honest with you.
It ruined all those movies that tried to adapt something. Like, why the hell do you have a Death and Return Superman movie that has to tie into the dark side, and it's only when Superman is just starting out?
Yeah, that was definitely like, all right, it's cool, but
it could have been good.
Like, we didn't even get a fucking standalone Superman movie in their universe. I'm like,
that was weird. All the world building was literally behind the scenes.
But here's the point, though.
Even Lois is just starting to date.
I think there's still a lot of leeway for them if they wanted to, do a hard reboot again or whatever. Like,
which is what they're doing right now. I mean, technically, the movie universe right now, they're kind of rebooting it in a way. It's like, all right, cool, but yeah, they're all over the place right now, and it's gonna if Superman Lois jumpstarts the new universe and it does laps around the movie universe again, I'm like, so guys, when you're gonna call Berlanti into the mix here anytime now?
To be fair, I have to wonder.
That's the plan within the next 2 to 3 years, to be honest.
I have to wonder if Superman Lois is getting season 3. because
it is. That's HBO Max money right there.
I know, but like it's HBO money right there. But again, Zaslov wants to keep all this strict theatrical, so he might just do enough paying us, and he's not. But again, I'm until we're seeing like the actual shows premiering and running through their full seasons, I'm not putting any eggs in the basket here.
Yeah. I think he's like I said, at the end of the day, I think he's definitely taking a look at the budgets, but at the same time, you just gotta hope that he's not kneecapping himself in the process. That's the only thing. So that's where it gets shaky with him. It's like, all right, guy, I get the money aspect of it because you got shareholders to kind of be upholden to, but like, come on, man, like, let's see where this goes. I mean, that's what sucks because at the end of the day, all of us, top to bottom on the media side, we're theorizing, which is fine, but like, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? But AJ, man, I would like to get some of your thoughts here too, because I know you haven't really spoken much, but just what do you take from this whole entire thing, man?
The one thing I take more than anything is that as soon, like I said it before, I said it earlier on the stream, as soon as one of these films makes a above decent amount of money, all of this blows Zaslav's any plans of rebooting. It blows it all up. Let Black Adam come out, do 800 million. Let Shazam come out, does somewhere in the same. All that talk he just gave his investors goes out the window, and he'll be like, "Hey, we need more of this. We need more of this. We need more of this. Oh wow, they like movies that connect to what we were doing before. Hey, yeah, let's try to get some more of that." We said that there is no plan until he gets somebody in there to run DC. I will give him credit for one thing that he's done, and I talked about this on the timeline a while ago. Mm-hmm. He fixed Warner Brothers' mistake from 10, 15 years ago, and he brought Alan Horn back into the fold. The one time when that company as a whole, not just the DC stuff, seemed to be on solid footing, he wasn't the top guy, but he was steering the ship. So if they can put him in charge of finding somebody to run this DC stuff, maybe I'll feel a little better about his quote-unquote plan that we have seen multiple times before and has failed multiple times before. So who knows, man? I'm just like I'm a much bigger DC guy than Marvel. I like the Marvel stuff, but DC's always been home for me. And right now I'm starting to get to the burnout phase where it's like, guys, just give me a good movie. That's all I'm asking.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, well said, man. I mean, because that's what I care about now, honestly, at this point. I just give me good movies. Like, that's why I'll be honest. Like I said it before, Aquaman was a ray of hope for me. The Batman was a ray of hope for me. Suicide Squad was, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. First one was shit, but still, like, again,
at least it felt shorter.
Yeah, but again, it was a ray of hope for me because that's all I care about at the end of the day. Just give me good movies, bro. Y'all don't gotta do a universe at this point. Y'all need to do it because y'all have seen success. Aquaman, Shazam, looks like Black Adam. You got the Batman. So I mean, y'all got a bag because again, that's the other thing too. It's just like if they just keep doing what they're doing with these movies, I think we'll be fine. I think we're past the whole connected universe thing. I get what they're trying to do, and also I want to throw this out there, bro. Maybe Ezra wilding out is a blessing in disguise because at least then when you have a movie like that on hold, again, you're not beholden to anything, dog. You're not. So maybe that's why Ezra just out here. Maybe the universe just lined up, bro. Maybe base God, Zordon, God, whatever you believe in. Maybe he's making it so that I was like, yo, this movie should never see the light of day because you can't promote the movie. You can't promote the movie because So I'm just saying, maybe this is just a sign, bro. Maybe we never see the Flash.
All I'm asking for is Matt Reeves, throw a little razzle dazzle in your next Batman movie, Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah, but actually, like give him like freezing powers. Like
yeah. I prefer the freezing gun, but
what I mean, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I still find it so cowardly. I'm calling Matt Reeves a coward. That movie is so cowardly because it wants to be silly. You can tell because it's silly. It's silly. I know it's silly, and I like that. But it's a half measure.
That's why I'm like, he has to go Mr. Freeze next round. Or Clayface. You got to go for broke. Fuck
and give Clayface. Riddler a suit. God damn you. There's no point to him not having a suit. His whole plan rested on getting recognized and caught.
Hey. I like Zodiac Killer.
That was so stupid. That was so stupid. It was the stupidest thing I ever fucking seen.
But look at here. Look at the enthusiasm we're having just talking about a singular movie. Singular movie. We're not talking no references. No, nothing. Look at how much fun.
That's how Batman should be. Batman should be in his Netflix, and then when you see him in Justice League, he's like, "Oh shit, crazy stuff going on out here."
Exactly, man. But you know what? To wrap up, like I said, I think it's dead in the water. I think it's bullshit. I think Zaslov is dick eating Feige. I know I lost a couple subscribers by saying that and put it on the thumbnail, but it is what it is. This is a big dick eating. Big dick eating, big SEO biting, SEO snatching bullshit. This is it, bro. This is it. I think it's done. We make it 3 years with this plan, and then that's it. That's it, bro. It's finito. It's done out here. All right. Like I said, I'll take a Black Adam movie. I'll take a Shazam movie. But as for this plan, bro, fuck your plan. Just put these movies out. That's all. That's all I need you to do. That's all I need you to do at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting a little late. And I think it's a perfect time to wrap it up. And I just want to say, first of all, as always, Elvis and AJ, thank you. You guys are friends of the channel. But I also want to say thank you to, Prime and CJ, because you guys are newcomers to the channel. So thank you guys for popping on. And it looks
Appreciate
like
it looks like for having me.
No problem. It looks like the stream did not no glitches. No, Ro, can I hear you?
Perfection.
Guys, finally, I'm happy.
It was meant to be, player.
It's meant to be. But yeah, man.
Stars aligned.
I want to give everybody, a chance to, to plug themselves. I have everybody here in somewhat order. So Prime, I'll start off with you, brother. Where can they find you at?
I can be found at the intersection of your worst nightmares, as well as Twitter. Same thing, really, actually. Prime Gundam, or on Instagram, where I'm posting cosplay and toy pictures. I also pop up frequently with my guy there, CJ, on random episodes of Three Black Geeks, as well as a host of a Toku podcast called The Morphin Metacast. We will be recording an episode. I think we'll be having a live stream too this Thursday. We'll be discussing Ultraman Dyna.
Yup.
Okay. We got next up, AJ, brother. Go ahead. Where can they find you at?
If you've listened to the channel before, you can find me on Twitter at Mr_Mitchell_ the number 2_ the letter U. Find me there giving my hot takes on a daily basis. Or you can find us on previous episodes of the Comics Code Authority podcast. Same bat time, same bat channel as always.
All right, Elvis.
All right. Hey, you can find me on Twitter at THE_SNICKMAN. I also run my own YouTube channel where I do some unboxings, some reviews, some comic reviews called Unsourced Wall Radio.
All right. And last but not least, CJ.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at CJ WizGeek. That's my personal one. And you can also follow Three Black Geeks' Twitter handle as well. Just put out a recent episode on the solar opposites from stuff from San Diego, and we still got more of that stuff coming out this week. And as Prime said, got Ultraman Dyna we're doing for more for Medicast, and also me and the guys are doing a double dose of Predator stuff for folks this week with Prey and the first Predator movie. So that's going to be fun, and you can find all our stuff on 3blackgeeks.com and also follow us on IG as well.
Word. And guys, as always, you can find me on Twitter, Roliver Queen _ I'm talking about, comic books, booze and pretty feet. Y'all see the tagline right there, deal. You could also find us on a Comics Code Authority. We will be coming back at the end of the month, and we will be hosting the episodes probably live here since my new connection is going well. So, why not? But please look out for more details regarding that. And you guys, as always, can follow the YouTube channel. Give me 1 second because I did not have it loaded here. Right here, Roliver Queen reviews. So hit me with that like, hit me with that subscribe. If you enjoyed this, I think you could call this a podcast or just live stream. Go ahead, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And help a brother out, man, because this was at 4:18 the other day, but because of this very offensive thumbnail and supposedly very offensive picture, I lost a couple subs. So help a nigga out. Help a nigga out, please. Help me. But yeah. So once again, guys, thank you all for popping up. I appreciate you all. And this ain't the last time we all gonna be linking up together, because whenever we link up, it's a good time, but it's always a shit show. And this was a good time in a shit show. So I'm looking forward to doing it again. But y'all, thank you for everybody who tuned in, whether it's for a couple minutes, the entire time or whatever have you. I appreciate you. But y'all, I'm out of here. Much love, much peace. It's your boy Roliver Queen, and we are